Hey, Dobry Utra. Unfortunately, I woke up with, I think, about almost half a dozen assignments to do, or was it just four? I don't know. So I don't have much time to really do my pre-market stuff. Um, but before I started recording, I did take a glance at the charts and made a couple adjustments. Um, let's start with TradingView. Well, thank you, computer. I have half on this screen and half of this on the other screen. Why I would ever want this, I don't know. All right. So just to recap last week, this is our mini megaphone that's inside of this larger megaphone. And last week, frustratingly, I went long. Um, Actually, I went long earlier, if I remember, and got burned. Or no, I only made one trade last week. I went long here when we formed a demand and then retested, but unfortunately that didn't play out for me and I ended up losing money. Of course, as fate would have it, it did make another demand exactly at the megaphone. So maybe I should have just waited till the megaphone gets actually tested or flushes below and recovers. Maybe that's what I should have done. But I mean, how would I have known that this isn't where this is going to bounce? Because sometimes it can bounce above the megaphone like it did here. So in this case, that didn't happen. I'll be back. All right, let's try this again. We reached the bottom of the megaphone, and then the market rallied. By then, I already used up what was left in my little account, and I already took a loss. I did have enough to go long again, but I decided not to because I would need to take a strike further out. If I wanted to use the ODTE, it would have to be a strike further out, and I wouldn't know how far this would rally. In fact, I checked if I tried to use the one that I had used before. Um, yeah, I don't know what time it was that this thing popped. It was around 1:13. So yeah, this might have gone up a few dollars if I managed to get at the very bottom, but after that, since we didn't make it to 412, by the time the market closed at least, then it would have been out of the money and then worthless. Because remember, an ODTE must be in the money for it to be of any value, because by then they just taken away all of the premium if it's out of the money. So at the end of the day, we formed a supply, tested, rejected on the rest of the market for Friday. But of course, as my luck will have it, when the market opened on Sunday, we just rallied. But look where we went to. Let me bring back TradingView. I just drew this line here, and I checked. This line is perfectly confluent with the bottom of the mini megaphone. So it looks like there's an obvious resistance here, and we've hit that resistance for the fourth or the third time, and now we're rejecting. Let me read Adam Mancini's tweet. Unfortunately, when the bell rings, I'm going to be too busy to even do anything, but I have a feeling um, the market is going to fall, at least initially. Oh my God. Following the momentum of this rejection. All right. on Friday, God damn it. On Friday, ES tested support of a 1 week textbook megaphone at 4112, right here. Starting a new leg up. My first target this week was 4158 and 2 points off. So we got to 4156, but that hit this trend I just found here. Uh, plan today 4147 now support, base above, then 4158. 4147 I think would be confluent to this trend here. Mine's probably slightly off of his, but it's fallen down. I have 4140, 4142 as next support. 4147 fails, we test 4132, he says. So that's here, which means I should remove this, but I'm keeping it because he doesn't always put all of his supports in Twitter. So it's possible we may bounce here at 4142, but the very likely spot to bounce would be 4132. But that still means that when the bell rings, this thing's going to drop. I don't know how many points of us on SPY this drop is. I would say maybe like half a point, 1 point, I don't know. If we do bounce at 4142 or 4132 and continue to rally, and if we can break through this resistance here, then 4172 is next. I don't know if we're gonna make it up there though. There's too many resistances in my opinion. The previous green channel, which you see we've rejected off of here, here, and here. This is a clone of the March low trend. I have 3 clones of that here. This, I don't remember what this is, but I don't feel like zooming out to remind myself, but I'm going to. Yeah, I don't know what this is. I might get rid of this. I don't know what's going on here. This has got to be a brilliant person here. Hold on. Okay. Anyways, so this line shows up on every chart. So let's go to Thinkorswim. We have it here on SPY. We have it on ES. We have it on VIX even. Surprisingly, oddly. One would think this would be the inverse, but it's there. It doesn't quite make sense. It shouldn't, but it's there. Anyways, so first of all, the fact that it's there on VIX is interesting because it's inverse. It should be the inverse, but if this continues up, breaks past this daily, and breaks past this trend, then we should have quite the fall up until perhaps this hour, the daily, or this the top of the megaphone that I have for VIX. And I don't really have much of a plan, to be honest. I'm just going to go ahead and switch to a put. I mean, my account is pathetically low. It's one of the lowest it's been. So I really shouldn't be taking any trades unless it's like a super edge, kind of obvious, screams in your face. You should be making a trade, type of trade, like here. I mean, on Friday, if the market just didn't want to fake me out and screw me over, if instead of making this demand and then retesting it and then coming up here, if it had instead just continued going down and chopped just above the megaphone, then finally at the end rallied, and perhaps even rallied a little bit high. I mean, it reclaimed 50% of this drop. So let's look. If I had chosen a strike that was in the money, so you see 412 is worthless. Watch what happens when I pick 411. Okay, if it had gone down and I got in at $10, $15, then this thing, and maybe you could have gotten in for a couple options at $10, $15, whatever, and then sold right before the market closed at whatever, $60 here. Then for a $20, $30 investment, I could have made over or about $100. You see? So um, it's just a screwed up situation where the market kept coming up, faking people out, and then at the very end, that's when it finally started to rally. So it's an unfortunate situation. So as of right now, I see no obvious edges except for taking it short at the bell as a result of this rejection from this line um, that has already happened, in fact. So that's also another problem for me because if it was up here at the bell, then you would take this short. There's more of an edge. This would be the third possible rejection. But because the rejection already occurred and we're just under a support given by Adam Mancini and above a couple other supports, it makes me wary of taking it short at the bell. But that may well end up being the correct play. So just out of hypothetical, I'm just gonna pick a short here. Although it's probably gonna be, I don't know. I don't know what this is gonna be with theta. Oh, because it rallied, this is gonna be cheap. Let's try. Here we go. So 410. Part of me just feels like taking it short now, and if I lose, I lose. I might do that because I have a feeling I'm gonna be busy as hell today. Well, I had a chance to get in, and now I can't. Oh, there it is. This will be my one and only trade for the day because as I've been trying to set this up, I've gotten a few more tasks, and I don't see much of an opportunity to play around today with the market. I mean, this will likely burn me, as most of my trades do. But I'm going to see if this actually starts to go down, and if we can make it to Adam Mancini's next target. We're at 4141 right now. And if we can make it down to 4132, then I might make a little bit of a profit. Not much, but a little bit. And of course, as I'm saying this thing's turning around, and I'm already going to get burned. Yep, there it is. Well, what can I do? I tried. Although ironically, look, we're bouncing on ES. This is why I don't only follow Adam Mancini's levels. Remember I told you 4140 I have as a level? Exactly where it's bouncing. Also, unfortunately for me, on VIX, we're at this daily. If bears want to win, they need to break past this daily, and especially past this trend right here. Let's see where we would be if it does get down to 4132. I don't know if my 4132 is accurate. I mean, in fact, I take it back. I'm pretty sure my 4132 isn't accurate. But let's see, 38. Yeah. I was hoping to be able to maybe squeeze 20 points. We're at 4137 now. It might hit 58, my target, if it comes down a little bit more. Although I'm thinking of one poster's comment, and he says, don't be so quick to manage your trade when you only have one position. Don't be so quick to sell. But look, I just got 10% profit here or $10 profit, and it's already turning back on me. I should have sold. VIX has made it over the daily though. That's a good sign. Although it's pushing back down below that trend that I was telling you about. It broke through and it's pushing back down. We're back at 48. I can get 10 right here if I sell. But should I be patient and wait? Could we get 58? It's almost there. There it is. Wow, I am blown away. And I'm probably going to be pissed later on that I sold early. But hey, almost a 50% profit on my tiny account. So I was right. This is the third rejection from the top of this line I found. And I also sold here because I don't know if this is accurate or not. Because I have, if you look on ES, I have a daily confluent with this trend here. It may go down even lower. It probably will. It probably will hit Adam Mancini's 4132 target, but we're so close to the 4132 target. I wanted to see if I can squeeze $20 profit and just call it a day. And that was a success. Shock. Shock, shock, shock. But this is good. I risked the entire account, managed to make what is the actual profit I made percentage wise? 34.39% profit, which is nothing to brag about when you have a tiny account. But and also it's technically $19 because $1 went to commission. I should have probably tried selling at 59. Yep. All right. It's a good thing this is done. I'm going to try and update when I can, but I keep getting more and more tasks, and I haven't done a single one this morning yet. So I need to just get going with this. Um, there is a chance, like I said, that I may have sold early and we won't bounce at 4132 and we'll continue to drop down to the bottom of um, this megaphone here. I should change the color of this, but anyways, if this does fall down here, then that's a lot of profit I left on the table. But I can only get one option, so I have to sell it early and take what profits I can. But when I return, one of two things are going to happen, obviously. Either we will bounce at this major level, and let me bring TradingView over so you can see the importance of this level, because it's not really reflected on Thinkorswim. This is a clone of the March lows. This is the 132 level. Two confluences. This is an important level for the bulls to bounce here. My crappy bed kills my back. It's got to bounce here. If it doesn't, then we're going to continue further down, maybe even to the bottom of the megaphone. So bulls will want it to bounce here. So either it's going to bounce here at slightly above, just below, bounce, or we're going to fall back into this support cluster that's very important for the bulls, or we're going to bounce at the bottom of the megaphone. It has to bounce there. If it doesn't, then the big sell begins. So I'll be back later. All right, quick update. It turns out that this option went as high as mid 80s, low 80s. And I sold at 58, right? Yeah. So it chopped back down. Here's what really happened. Let's zoom in. We had our dip down to this level, which I think is where I sold. It pulled back even more. Didn't even make it to VWAP, interestingly. Pushed back some more, pulled back, ended up what was previous support, now is resistance, and dropped even further. You can see now we're forming a pretty strong 15-minute demand, which will close in about 2 minutes. And now this trend, which was support and previous resistance, may prove as resistance again. I don't know. It doesn't matter really for me because I've got I've got literally 15 cents left to trade in my account, so I can't do anything else today. Had I held a little bit longer and sold at 78, I could have doubled my profits. But again, Adam Mancini mentions time and again, and I have to try and remind myself that your goal is to catch a piece of the move. You're never going to get from top to bottom. So, but look where we bounced, right at 4122. And is that where Adam Mancini said we would go? I think it was. Let's just double check. Oh my goodness. 417, 4147. I'm pretty sure he gave the next resistance. No, he said 4132. Well, in any case, it didn't bounce at 4132. It didn't bounce at 4128, which I thought it might be the next level. Instead, it was 4122. Oh, by the way, I might do this later today if I have time. The MK group has come up with some new strategy called the 112. I haven't had a chance to watch any videos about it. I'm curious what this new strategy is, but this is reminiscent of back in 2020 when I first started looking at options to trade. And I learned about the whole supply demand theory, not theory, but strategy. And then I found Carmine Rosito's Instagram and also his YouTube channel, which was getting very popular. And I ended up paying the whatever that was back then, 300 something dollars to do his program and learn his strategy for how he finds supply and demands, which is different from MK strategy. And it seems everyone has their own version of a strategy of how to do it. But I noticed back then, surprisingly, it worked on almost a daily basis if you did your supply and demand. And of course, you would. Here's the gray of it. You can use the supply and demand strategy on any time frame, but you have to choose which time frames you want to do. If you do every time frame, you're going to have a bunch of supply and demands. If you do more popular ones like a daily, a 4 hour, an hour, a 30, and a 15 or something like that, then you won't have as much clutter on your screen. Then you have to decide when to remove those supply and demands. When are they invalidated? When are they not? When are they still good? Um, but I would say for the most part, about 60% of the supply and demand strategy trades would have worked. But since I had just started trading, I had so many emotional issues. I was always hesitant to trade. I was terrified of losing money. I doubted myself severely. And there'd be times where my heart will be racing and I'm trying to tell myself to pull the trigger to buy the trade and I wouldn't. Or if I got in the trade, my heart was racing to the point where I felt dizzy and I would always exit too early or always hold too long. So I was still a rookie in terms of trading back then. But then when I started to get a little bit better and get better control of my emotions, here's the problem. His supply demand strategy started failing. It didn't have the same win ratio. It wasn't happening. All the supply and demands weren't being respected. It just wasn't working. And then he had changed his strategy to something called the VVL or something like that. So I don't know. At that point, I pretty much gave up. his strategy, and I was trying to learn more on Adam Mancini's strategy at that point. So that's like spring of 2021 when that started failing, and that's when I moved into this apartment and I started focusing more on Adam Mancini's strategy, which was again, as you can see, it's hard to use Adam Mancini's levels and then translate them to SPY. It was very hard. I only just recently, like for example, watch this. We're we're at 4133 right now. You can see it here on SPY, right? I mean on ES. Watch when I hit SPY. Now my thing says 4138. And I remember just Friday I readjusted all of these levels and now they have to be redone again. And that's the problem. It's very difficult to do that, which is, and I think this morning I actually was trading looking at ES for the whole time. Yeah, I knew that was going to cause some problems. Sorry. Um, just some drama. What was I saying? I'm sorry, guys. I still have a couple more tasks that's bouncing around in my head, and I'm trying to. Yes, so I was talking about. Um, so, so Carmen Rosito came out with some new strategy that I never really bothered to learn because, like I said, I was focusing on Adam Mancini's strategy, which was difficult to translate to options trading on SPY. If I was just doing futures alone, that's a different story. I mean, for example, look at this. If I got up around 7 a.m. and saw this rejection here and saw, as I did this morning, that we had one, two rejections prior to this trend, and then planned on a third rejection, I could have gotten in on options up here at 4153, 4154 at the rejection of this trend and scale, let's say I had enough money to get several contracts and scaled out. The first being at 4132 and then the rest being at maybe more at 4128 and then maybe the rest at 4122. And if I had any more, I would have stopped out by now. So you see how easier it is to trade futures than to do options, where with options you have to worry about what strike price to choose, the optimal strike. Well, not really. If you have the money, it's always worth it to go at the money, in the money, or maybe one out of the money. But yeah, so I'm curious what this new strategy is that MK came up with. Because it didn't seem like he really needs to come up with a new strategy because his strategy, his well, my modified version of his strategy seems to work at least once or twice a week. So I'm curious if his strategy is a modification of the previous strategy or it's a completely different one. So later on today, I might pull up one of his YouTube videos and watch it while I record here, and we can see what that new strategy entails. And if it's a modification of the previous strategy, I might try back testing it over the weekend because I really haven't been doing any demo trades, practice trades over the weekend. I should start doing that again. Um, okay, so yeah, I'm sorry. That was my update for now. What can I? Let's look at TradingView and see if we can predict the rest of the day. Well, I know it's not our job to predict. Adam Mancini always says that, but if bulls, let me just try and think of the way how Adam Mancini thinks. If bulls can reclaim the previous support, which I think was 4147. My God, I'm so tired of opening Twitter and it going automatically to the home screen and not the post I was looking at. If bulls can reclaim 4147, then we're back en route to 4148, 4158, I mean, um, right here. which I probably should put a level there uh, later. 4158, then 4172 right here. So yeah, I'm curious what's going to happen. You know what? I wonder if this is going to be a very volatile week. Let's take a look at the calendar and see what's in store this week. Looks like all the Fed chairs are speaking tomorrow except Papa Powell. Um, what's Wednesday? Uh, I don't know what relevance this is. More Feds speaking. Uh-oh, there it is. Friday at 11 o'clock. Papa Powell speaks. Oh, that's going to be quite an interesting day. I wonder if he's going to talk about the Federal Reserve raised the Fed fund rates by 25 basis points to a range of 5 to 5.25 during its May meeting, marking the 10th increase. Didn't I read all of this already last week? Yeah, I remember reading this last week. So I don't know what this meeting is supposed to be, but I'm gonna guess he's gonna determine or he's gonna state whether or not. No, I think that's in June. In June, he's gonna state whether or not he's gonna pause or if there is gonna be a pause on when it's going to be. So, yeah, I don't know. This might be a volatile week with all the Fed chair speaking, though. So, anyways, guys, that was my update. Unnecessarily long update. All right, I think I'm actually caught up with the work for now. Um, I just wanted to show some things here I find interesting. Let's go ahead and maximize on my SPY. Again, this was the March low, and this was a clone above and a clone below. And on the 30-minute, we've created a pretty strong demand. Why does it look weird like that? Anyways, a pretty strong demand, and this is a clean, clear fake breakdown, false breakdown of this March low trend and of the 4128 support level, and bulls will now want to reclaim 4127, which it looks like we rejected almost exactly at 4141, which means again all of these levels are off as usual. And I'm almost beginning to think that I should every morning. But the thing is, it's hard for me to determine what is and isn't the right level unless I look at the chart on ES. And if I don't have a candle that goes to a specific point, and if that candle mirrors ES perfectly, then yes, then I can match the levels. But if not, especially with the SPY pre and post market, its candles don't look the same as ES because the volume is not the same. So that's a problem. But in any case, we have a false breakdown of the March low, and on VIX, I thought once the bulls broke out of this trend here, we may have a rally or a sell to the daily. But I think I mentioned this morning, if we did break through here, we may have a turnaround at the hour or at the daily. And it turns out it's at this hour here. Now on VIX, we've made a mirror of SPY, so a clean fake breakout of the hour and a clean 30-minute supply has been formed. So this is a good spot to go long if you were if you're bullish, and no resistance from the trend, no resistance from this daily or this trend. It just kept pushing through. Well, on a 30, that's the way it looks. On a 15, yeah, same thing on the 15. So it's a pretty clean rally, except for where we are now. So the question is, what is the current resistance? So let's go look at ES, and there you go. The answer is VWAP on ES. Now on SPY, we've cleared VWAP. So that's good news, somewhat for a bullish point of view. But since 9:15, VWAP has continued to be resistance. It looks like we cleared it a little bit in the last candle, but this 4140 level knocked us back down. So, though I expect, I expect bulls will succeed in pushing past VWAP, and we may come back up to 4147, which was the level that bulls needed to hold to continue the rally, and we may reject there, or we may reject again here. But the fact that we've returned back to this trend up here so early in the day may be proof that the bulls can break through. I don't know. So, anyways, that's the update. Oh, what's this? Do you think the market is bearish? Oh, I gotta take this call. Sorry, guys. Real quick, something else I've noticed. I don't know if I'm seeing this correctly, because this looks like a head and shoulders. If you take everything else out of context, but otherwise in context, I don't know. Is this a head and shoulders? No, because this needs to be lower than the head. So yeah, this could be a head and shoulders here. Yeah, this could be the point where we break out of here and then start to rally. So just have to wait and see. I was just gonna do an update, and Adam Mancini just tweeted. Let's read his tweet. Sorry, dealing with Twitter. Okay, good follow through here in ESF and coming into 4147 resistance now. 4156 next above, which is breakout point to 4173 upside magnet. We have 6 days chopping in a 60-point range, and this should resolve with a good multi-day trend. Bulls control above 4133, 4129. Well, I'm done for the day, but I'm starting to think, let's look at what this would have given us if we took this long. I don't even want to look at SPY right now. Hold on, so I'm trying to find a proper zoom out. Okay, this looks better. Let's choose the 413. Oh, that's kind of out there. Okay, we'll choose the 412. Alright, so we formed a demand. Is it still 30? No, it says 15. We formed a 30-minute demand right at 4122 support. A 15-minute demand. It never retested though. So if you went long, let's say at this candle, let's say you wanted to wait and you waited till 10:30, you could get in here at 40, and thankfully it didn't pull back enough that theta would put you in negative, and if you held, then we just hit 80. If the bulls can break through 4147 now resistance, then like Adam Mancini said, 4173 is up next, assuming they can break through now 4153 resistance right here, confluence with this trend we rejected from this morning. So yeah, this would have been a good trade as well. It's too bad I didn't have any funds left. The cool thing about having a large account and um, I forget. I think I forget what kind of account it is. It's not cash account, but it's the other kind of account where if you've taken a trade and you've made money, that in that trade, that money goes immediately into your account and you can trade again, if that makes sense. I think you can do that with certain types of accounts, but obviously with my tiny cash account, that is not possible. So here's the test now, 4147. Let's see what happens here. All right. So remember, the reason why I went short this morning was because this channel you see here, this upper channel, happens to be confluent with the bottom of the mini megaphone that was created. We had a rejection here. This was overnight on Thursday, and here pre-market on Friday, which is why I should have taken it short on Friday. But I didn't even notice this here. Sometimes I wonder how I don't see these things. And as you can see, this will be the third rejection this morning, which is why I took it short. And it would have been a pretty good trade if I held a little bit longer, but I still got a piece of the move. We bounced that support at 4122. Excuse me, made a pretty good demand, which wasn't retested, but it was a pretty strong rally. We made it to 4147, broke past that, and look where we are rejecting now. Exactly at that trend again. It cannot be a coincidence. We formed a 50-minute supply, and now we're going back down. I thought we might bounce at 4147, but no. So far, it doesn't seem like that's the case. And we are breaking now through VWAP. That means if we bounce, it could be at 4132. It could be at this trend. It could also be at VWAP on SPY. So let's take a quick look at SPY. We're at VWAP on SPY, and we're falling below it. Let's take a look at VIX. I may have to add a level here, it looks like, or move this level. No, this level is right where it needs to be, it looks like. Anyways, so you can see a quick bounce on VWAP. I'm sorry guys, on VIX. There's a chance that we could reject here at this level or at a daily. In fact, a good spot for rejection would be a confluence of this trend here with the daily here. So, in any case, if I had extra funds, going long here, once we created demand, would have been a great trade here. Setting our sell limit right at the top of this trend, or even just above it, and then taking it short here would have been a nice scalp. So, just an interesting play on the events. Let's take a look also on TradingView, because it looks much better on TradingView, I'm sure. So, rejection, 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 rejection. Of course, the more this trend is tested, the weaker it's going to be. So, bounce plate, possible points of bounce here, here, or here. However, if we lose the lows of today, if this demand that was formed earlier, major demand, gets broken down, then the next spot would be the low of Friday. And if we fall below there, then we'll have the megaphone, which now is at about 4106, 4105. And if we fall below that, 4100 is psychological level, that's the next possible bounce. But in any case, that's just the update for now. Alright, another update. Wasn't much of a big sell-off, unfortunately for bears. Fortunately for bulls. I don't take any sides. I don't care. I just want to make money. Bulls were able to keep it above 4135, the daily I have here. Although I really should redo all these dailies and weeklies over the weekend. And we're just sort of chopping now, maybe building up energy under this resistance for a final breakout. I don't know. Let's see what's new with VIX. Yeah, just chopping around here. We're actually dead center on the megaphone for VIX, so I'm not sure which way this is gonna go. And again, we have a lot of Fed speaking this week, so not much of a change here on SPY. But this did create a strong supply on both the 15 and the 30. But we still have our strong demand here on the 15 and the 30. And ironically, see this where I have it marked here as 30? This is where we created a 30-minute demand last week, Thursday, when we had that push off and that retest here. So this 4-1, well, let's look at it on ES, because who knows what level. In fact, I remember I did that too. It's 4122.84, and I actually went to SPY and tried to put the exact same level, but then I decided just to put 30-minute because you know what's going to happen. So for SPY, it's 410. For ES, it's come on. About 4122. Well, no, let's go back to the 30. For ES, it's 4129. Well, no. Interesting. Yeah, it's a little different on ES. The levels don't match up as they do on SPY, which is interesting. See, here's our 30-minute and the retest, and it went just below. But on SPY, my God, dude. On SPY, it hit almost to the dot on that 30-minute. It was a support here, a rejection here, and a very good support here. I didn't even, just a quick touch. Anyways, one more hour left for the market to be open. So let's see. Maybe he's going to make its big move later on this week. Okay, this is going to be my final update before uploading this. It turns out that I was right about this rejection. It's a pretty strong rejection, in fact. This is the 30. Let's go back to the 15. Bears couldn't capitalize on this projection though, and we're just chopping under the resistance, exactly under 4147. So it is possible that overnight bulls might reclaim and we might break through this channel overnight, or we might fall back down again and reset. So I don't know what's going to happen. So we'll just see tomorrow. That's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and just upload this as it is.